I know that there's like a group of people who are quite anti-hashtag, and I get it. Like, hashtags have let you down. I feel you. Hashtags let me down in the past. Like, I totally get it. However, on occasion, they have actually really pulled through for me. For example, this time, also that time, and this time, when I reached 36,000 people purely through hashtags. Like, mind blown. So hopefully I've done a bit of convincing to anyone who hates hashtags at the start of the video. Stick with me. I'm going to teach you how you can use them to really help, grow and leverage your account. Before we do that though, I do have a surprise for you, because there's so many new people on this account. Last month I had like 700 subs and now I've got like 4,000. Crazy. I decided to do a giveaway. So some of you may know that I provide Instagram audits to people. You can purchase one on my website. I'll put the link in my description. And basically what they are is they're documents which comb through every element of your Instagram page. It gives you scores, and then I also give you advice on how you can improve each element of your Instagram page moving forward. I've decided I'm going to give away one of these for free to one of you guys every single month until the rest of the year. So this, guys, is a continuous giveaway. I'm going to put in a round of applause here just to really gas me up. Yeah, so it doesn't matter what point of 2021 you're watching this video, you can enter this giveaway. And this is how you enter. The first thing is, of course, to comment on this video and subscribe to my channel. The next thing is to share one of my Instagram posts. I don't care what post it is, but share one of them on your stories. And the final thing I'm going to need you to do is join my mailing list. I'll put a link to it below. When you join my mailing list, you will receive tips and advice every week. You'll never miss one of my YouTube uploads. And yeah, you will basically just get loads more free content. So why not join? I'll be announcing a winner at the end of each month on my Instagram channel, so make sure you follow it so that you don't miss out. Okay, enough blabbing, let's get to the good stuff. Let's talk about why hashtags are important. So, hashtags allow Instagram to categorize your content and also makes your content searchable. So, one of the biggest flaws of Instagram, in my humble opinion, is that it could sometimes be quite a closed platform. And by that, I just basically mean sometimes it's hard for you to reach accounts who aren't following you. It's not like YouTube where their algorithm is, backed by a search engine. It's a lot more closed and kind of harder to get your account pushed out there. So one way for you to do this is via hashtags. They provide a constant source of reach for your content. So as I mentioned, some people don't like them, but I'm a true believer that they can really help your account grow. When you go on Instagram and you search a hashtag, you'll notice that there's two different categories. There's top hashtags and recent hashtags. I'm going to teach you how to get to the top hashtags because that is where the money is made. So let's get straight to it. I'm going to teach you a 3-step process to finding hashtags which are going to work for your account. The first step is in identifying the right hashtag for you. So what I'm going to need you to do is to get a pen and paper. You can do it with me now. You can watch this later. I don't mind. Get a pen and paper, get your laptop, get an Excel sheet, however you want to do it. Get your notes up on your iPhone, Android, whatever. And I need you to brainstorm 20 hashtags within the following buckets, shall we call them. Before you say, oh, 20 hashtags, does that mean that I should only be using 20 hashtags? Bear with me. All will be revealed later in this video. So the 3 buckets that I need you to brainstorm these hashtags under, right? Let's start with bucket A. Bucket A is all about you. So we're going to start by being really selfish. So these hashtags are in relation to you. Who are you? Are you a hashtag food blogger? Are you a hashtag yogi? Like, who are you? Are you a hashtag small business owner? Like, what do you like? What are your values? Like, are you a big supporter of the hashtag shop small movement, which you probably are if you're a small business owner? Think about stuff like that. Like, what do you do for work? What do you believe in? What do you support? Just really get down to the nitty gritty of who you are and how you identify yourself, and list some hashtags under that. I will put a link to various hashtag generators in this description bar so that you can have a look. There's a bunch of them, and that will allow you to search and maybe get some ideas of different hashtags that you could be using. So I want 20 under the bucket of you. Bucket B is all about your ideal follower. So this is all about your audience, and hopefully you guys know who your ideal follower is. If you don't know who your ideal follower is, then how are you talking to them? You've got to know who they are. You've got to build an audience profile for them. But that is a whole nother video. But let's assume that you know who your ideal follower is. I now want you to ask similar questions about your ideal follower that you just asked about yourself. So who is this person? What do they love? What are their values? Are they like a hashtag Labrador enthusiast? Can you tell I'm making these hashtags as I go along? Do they really like puppy content? Are they a hashtag Labrador lover? Think about stuff like that. Like, who are they? What do they love? What do they do for work? Really get down to the nitty gritty. Put yourself in their shoes. What hashtags are they searching for? You know, what are they interested in? And then bucket C, so our third bucket, is going to be based on your content. So ideally, these will be based on your content pillars. Now, you would need to have identified content pillars for them to be based on your content pillars. If you haven't and you need some help in that area, please let me know in the comments, because I can add that to my list of videos that I need to create. There's quite the list, but I'll add it to my list and I'll definitely get to it. But basically what content pillars are, they're basically a way of categorizing your content to make sure that it's always aligned and that it always feeds well into kind of your overall page aesthetic and your niche. So if I give you an example on my channel, Orange Collective, which is my influencing channel, which I own with my boyfriend, our content pillars on that channel are travel, food and experiences. That's the content that we share, and that's what we always make sure our content falls into one of those pillars before we post it, right? So you can have a look at your page now if you don't already have content pillars, and you hopefully already see a bit of a theme. Maybe it's that you post a lot of inspirational content and quotes. Maybe it's that you post fashion. Maybe it's that, you know, just think about it and hopefully you will see a few themes come out of your page. And then once you've identified those, I want you to, again, write 20 hashtags for them, all based on your different content. You'll notice that these hashtags are going to overlap, which if anything is a good thing, because it means that your audience, you and your content are all aligned, which is what you want, right? So I wouldn't worry too much about that. If I was you, I'd try your best to pick different hashtags for each. But the process doesn't end here. It's not like you've come up with 60 hashtags in total and now you're done. There's more to it. So let's move on to step number 2. Step number 2, vetting your hashtags. So you've come up with all these hashtags and you're probably thinking, oh yeah, this is it, job done, tick, move on to the next task. No. Now that we have potential hashtags, we now need to figure out if they are correct for your page. And we also need to figure out if they are banned. So Instagram, you may not know this. If you don't know this, this is gonna blow your mind. Instagram ban hashtags. And that might not surprise you, but the hashtags they ban might. Like, they are wild. Like, Christian coach for women have recently been banned. Question social media manager. Like, what are people posting under these hashtags to make Instagram ban them? It baffles me. People are strange. Like, it's really confusing. But Instagram ban hashtags on a, like, I would go as far to say a monthly basis. Like, they are constantly reviewing hashtags, how they're being used. And if they deem them as inappropriate or breaching their guidelines, they will ban these hashtags. And if you use these hashtags, albeit accidentally, Instagram will limit the reach of your account. And that is going to have detrimental effects on your content. And honestly, when I say that there's some really obvious ones in there that I guarantee you have used at some point, when you always, the people who I said before who hate hashtags, like, maybe this is why they've not worked for you before. Maybe you've used a banned one by accident. Like, I have, 100% I have. It's a really, really easy mistake to make. So anyway, this is why we need to vet those 60 hashtags you've just come up with. So you're going to go into Instagram's app, you're going to search for these hashtags, and if they are banned, you will see this message appear. If that message does appear, I'm going to need you to just cross that one out of your list because it's not correct and we're not going to use it. The other thing I want you to be checking for, so say you've searched a hashtag, it's not banned, check. Now I want you to look at the top content in this hashtag. So again, we're not looking at the most recent category, we're looking at the top. I want you to look at this content and think, okay, does this actually align with any of the content that I do? Like, for example, if you've looked up a hashtag and you've seen loads of posts which are all quotes and graphics, do you post quotes or graphics? And if you don't, then that hashtag's not correct for you, you know? So think about things like that, because at the end of the day, if you really like a hashtag and it does relate to you, but you don't create content which is similar to the top posts on there, you're not going to get on the top posts. You know, we want to find some attainable hashtags here. So if you've done that and you're like, you know what, my content's not really similar, cross that hashtag out too. I then want to make sure that your hashtags are niche enough. And there's so many different numbers what go alongside this from different people. Like, I even change the numbers sometimes, but this is what I'm working to for my 2021 hashtag strategy. And the whole reason why I work to these numbers is because I want to avoid my content drowning in a sea of other content. And that's what happens when you use hashtags which have huge amounts of posts, so loads, millions of posts, right? So this is how I categorize hashtags by the number of posts. In my opinion, small hashtags that have anything from 0 to 100,000 posts. Medium hashtags have anything from 100,000 posts to 500,000 posts. And then your big hashtags are basically 500,000 plus. So what I want you to do is look at your account and be really honest with yourself and say, okay, what are my chances of showing up in any of these hashtags within these categories? If you are a small account, so I'm talking under 10,000 followers, you need to be focusing on the small hashtags because they're going to give you a bigger chance. As you grow, you can start using the other hashtags because you're going to have more followers, you'll get more engagement, you'll get more likes, you'll do work better on the algorithm. So the chances of you ranking in medium or large hashtags is going to increase. So I want you to be really honest with yourself and basically cross out hashtags if you don't think they're the right fit for you. Now that we've done all those few steps to vet those hashtags, you've probably noticed that you've lost quite a few hashtags, especially if you're new to this process because you probably put loads of really big hashtags down there. Don't worry, we all make that mistake. So you probably just looked back to your list and thought, oh, this is awkward. I now only have 4 hashtags per bucket. Well, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but I'm going to need you to go back to those buckets and come up with 16 more hashtags for each. And I want you to keep on doing this process and keep on vetting these hashtags until you have 20 hashtags for each of those buckets. It might take you a while, but no one said this was going to be a quick process, you know? I didn't say it was going to be quick. But it will be so worth it in the end, I promise. Step 3. This is your final step of identifying the best hashtags for you. Once we get past this step, I'm going to give you some do's and don'ts, and then done. You finished, you completed the module, you can move on and use your hashtags and watch your account grow. So step 3 is all about testing and learning. So yeah, you've got all your 60 hashtags, you've vetted them and you're like, great, finished. No, I'm going to need you to test and learn these hashtags. And how you do that, I'll put a little virtual phone here so you can have a look at me going on some of my posts and looking at my insights to see how my hashtags are doing. I'm gonna flex on you here and I'm gonna purposely go on a post what's done really well for me on hashtags just because I need a boost today. So that's what I'm gonna do, but rest assured, all of my posts definitely do not do this well. So I'm gonna need you to go through the process of doing this. If you don't have a business or creator account, you gotta get one now. That needs to be one of the first things you do before you even start doing the whole hashtag thing. Get one of those so that you have access to your insights and just have a look at how your hashtags are doing. Check your hashtags sometimes to see if you're ranking and then make note of how you're doing. If you think some of them aren't working well for you, fine, cross them out. It's an evolving process, this, and the more you do it, the better you get at it and the more you really get familiar with which hashtags work and which ones don't. All right, so we're nearly done. Thank you so much for bearing with me. I appreciate it. Let's talk about some do's and don'ts. So I'm going to start with the don'ts first so that we can end on a nice positive note. So, okay, so don'ts. Don't use the same hashtags in the same order on every post. The reason why I asked you to come up with 60 hashtags in total was so that you can avoid falling into this trap and you can have a nice bank of hashtags to use and rotate on all of your posts, right? The reason why this is a bad thing, you've probably heard it before, is because Instagram's super smart and they're always on the lookout for bot-like activity. And unfortunately, using the same hashtags in the same order in every post is considered bot-like activity. So it might get you in Instagram's bad books. If you want to know more about what else will get you in Instagram bad book, because there's loads, I'll link to a video up here. But the point is, you don't want to get in Instagram's bad books because when you are, they will limit your reach and no one wants that kind of ag in their life. So the next thing I need you to not do is, again, use banned hashtags. I'm just going to reiterate it because in my opinion, it's the biggest pitfall that people fall into. But if you followed my steps before, then you shouldn't even have banned hashtags on your radar. You know, so hopefully that step's already covered. Do not use emojis in your hashtags. It is pointless. You're making life harder for yourself. You're not going to get as much reach from those hashtags and it is just putting a level of complexity to your hashtags that you do not need. Final one, bit of a random one, is no need to use hashtags in your stories. I've tried this quite a few times and I was like, this is so smart. I'm hiding hashtags in my stories. I'm so clever. It doesn't really do much. People don't really check the hashtags. It's not beneficial to you. So I wouldn't worry about doing that. So in terms of the do's, I do want you to use 30 hashtags in every single post. I want you to put those hashtags wherever you want. People always ask me like, where's best? Is it in the captions? Is it in the comments? Honestly, I do both. So for Orange Collective, we put them in the comments and on We Side Hustle, I put them in the caption. Orange Collective is where you would have seen some of my ridiculous reach figures for hashtags before. So that was for hashtags that we had put in the comments. If that's not proof that they work in the comments as well as in the captions, then I really don't know what is. People will tell you different stuff, but in my opinion, just follow your heart. Where do you want to put the hashtags? You know, put them where you want, hun. Put final do is to update your hashtags on a regular basis. I'll go as far, if you've got the time, do it monthly. Make sure that your hashtags are always relevant. Sometimes a hashtag could be really popular one day and really not popular the next. Also, sometimes a hashtag could be fine to use one day and banned the next. So that process of vetting your hashtags is continuous. You've got to do it on a regular basis. I hate to break it to you. But that's going to make sure that you're always using hashtags which are super relevant and useful for you. That is it. You've gotten to the end of my video. You are now a hashtag expert. Congratulations. If you found this video useful, then I recommend checking out this one. It is all about my top Instagram growth hacks for 2021. Also, do not forget to enter my giveaway. I'm giving away a free bespoke audit every month for the year of 2021. If you missed the details of how to enter, I will put the details in the description. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video.